Forming and solving equations with Adam Maths Tutor. The beginner questions are some of the easier questions that you're likely to find on this topic. Forming an equation is when you take a problem described in words and translate it into a mathematical equation using numbers, variables like x, and operations addition, subtraction. It's like turning a story into a puzzle that you can solve. Once you've got the equation, solving it means finding the value of the variable that makes the equation true. You're basically figuring out the answer to the puzzle. To start, we'll identify an unknown. So we'll pick a variable such as x to represent what we're trying to find. So if Adam is 3 times as old as Ben, we don't know how old Ben is to start off with. So we'll represent Ben's age as x, an unknown. If Adam is 3 times as old as Ben, we can represent Adam's age as 3 multiplied by x, which is 3x. Sally is 7 years younger than Adam, so taking Adam's age of 3x and 7 years younger would imply that we're taking away 7 from the age, which gives us 3x subtract 7. We formed expressions to represent Ben's, Adam's and Sally's ages. We're then told that the sum, which is the total of their ages, is 126. That means adding these 3 expressions together, x plus 3x plus 3x minus 7, will equate to 126. To find the ratio of Ben's age to Adam's age to Sally's age, it would be good to know what their individual ages were to start off with. We can do that by simplifying the left-hand side of the equation and solving to find x. X plus 3x plus 3x is 7x. And subtracting 7 is equal to 126. Adding 7 to both sides, 7x is equal to 133, and dividing through by 7, x is equal to 19. Now I know that x is 19, I can substitute this back into the original expressions to work out their ages. Ben was x, which would be 19. Adam was 3 lots of x, and 3 lots of 19 is 57. And Sally was 3 lots of x minus 7, 3 lots of 19 minus 7 is 50. We would need to check to see whether the ratio can be simplified, but in this case it can't. So the final answer would be 19 to 57 to 50. Problems involving ages are common, similar to the one completed. Other types of common GCSE problems are perimeter and area questions. For this question on the right hand side, we need to find an expression for the perimeter of the rectangle. The perimeter is the distance around the outside of the shape, and the properties of a rectangle tell us that if this length is 2x plus 3, then the opposite length or side will be the same. So I can also label this one as 2x plus 3. Likewise, if this length is labelled as x plus 5, then this length can also be labelled as x plus 5. The perimeter will be the sum of all 4 of these lengths, 2x plus 3 plus 2x plus 3 plus x plus 5 plus x plus 5. Adding by collecting like terms will give me an expression for the perimeter of the rectangle. 2x plus 2x plus x gives me 6x, and 3 plus 5 plus 5 is positive 16. For the second part of the question, given that the rectangle has a perimeter of 43 centimetres, so 6x plus 16 is equal to 43, find the value of x. So solving for x, I can subtract 16 from both sides of the equation. 6x is equal to 27, and then dividing through by 6 will give me my solution for x. 27 over 6 is the same as 9 over 2, which can be written as 4.5 centimetres. On to the intermediate questions with an increase in difficulty. One of the other most common type of problems we can have is those involving angles in polygons, typically triangles or quadrilaterals. The question doesn't guide us by saying find an expression for the sum of the angles, but they do ask us to find the value of the size of one of the angles, in this case the smallest angle. To do that, we'll need to find out what x represents, and to find out what x represents, we'll need to set up an equation by using the angle properties of the triangle in this case. We should know that all of the angles of a triangle will add to give us 180 degrees. This isn't stated in the question and is just an expectation that we know and use this. So adding 2x plus 9 to x plus 13 and adding x minus 8 will equal 180 degrees. I can now simplify by collecting like terms on the left-hand side of the equation. 2x plus x plus x is 4x, and 9 plus 13 subtract 8 is positive 14. Therefore, 4x plus 14 is equal to 180, and I can now solve to find x. Subtracting 14 from both sides, 4x is equal to 166, and dividing through by 4, x is equal to 41.5 degrees. Now I can substitute this value for x back into the original expressions to find which of these is the smallest angle. Substituting 41.5 into 2x plus 9, 2 lots of 41.5 plus 9 is 92 degrees. Substituting into this angle, where I have 41.5 subtract 8, which is 33.5. And lastly, substituting into x plus 13, 41.5 plus 13 is equal to 54.5, meaning the smallest angle will be 33.5, which was this angle in the bottom right. On to the second question. The perimeter of the rectangle is equal to the perimeter of the triangle. Find the value of x. If this length of the rectangle is 2x plus 7, then this length can also be labelled as 2x plus 7. And if this length is x minus 5, then this length can also be labelled as x minus 5. Adding all of the lengths together will give me the perimeter of the rectangle. 2x plus 7, add 2x plus 7, add x minus 5, add x minus 5. 2x plus 2x plus x is 6x, and 7 plus 7 is 14. Take away 5, and 5 again is positive 4. The perimeter of the rectangle can be found by adding the three lengths together. X plus 2x plus 11 plus 2x is equal to x plus 2x plus 2x is 5x, and then adding 11. I know that the perimeter of the rectangle is equal to the perimeter of the triangle, so equating these two expressions equal to each other will allow me to solve to find my unknown variable x. Start by subtracting 5x from both sides of the equation. 6x take away 5x is x, so x plus 4 is equal to 11, and then subtracting 4 from both sides leaves me with x, which is equal to 7. On to the advanced question, one of the trickier questions that you're likely to find on this topic. The diagram shows a right angle triangle. All measurements are given in centimetres. Find the value of x, giving your answer in the form of a plus or minus b root c. This part here is a big clue for how we're going to access the question. Since all of the lengths have been provided using algebraic expressions, and I've been told that the triangle is a right angle triangle, I can use Pythagoras' theorem to form an equation between the three lengths. The square of the two shorter lengths, so squaring the whole length x plus 1, so inside a bracket, and adding this to the square of x plus 2, is equal to the square of the longer side, or the hypotenuse, which is labelled as x plus 5, where the shorter sides can be labelled as a and b, with the hypotenuse or the longer side being labelled as c. We can see that we have a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, which is Pythagoras' theorem. Expanding x plus 1 squared will give us x squared plus 2x plus 1, and expanding x plus 2 squared is x squared plus 4x plus 4, and this is equal to x plus 5 squared, which is x squared plus 10x plus 25. Collecting like terms on the left-hand side of the equation, x squared plus x squared is 2x squared, 2x plus 4x is 6x, and 1 plus 4 is 5. If you want to solve this to find x, we'll have to make this a quadratic equation equal to 0. I can subtract x squared from both sides. 2x squared take away x squared is x squared. Subtract 10x from both sides. 6x take away 10x is negative 4x. And subtracting 25 from both sides, 5 take away 25 is negative 20. And this would be equal to 0. And there are two ways of solving for x to get it in the form of a plus or minus b root c. I can either do this by completing the square and then solving, or using a simplified version of the quadratic formula. I'll go with the method of the quadratic formula, where x is equal to negative b, so negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so negative 4 squared, minus 4 lots of a, which is 1, multiplied by c, which is negative 20, all over 2 lots of a, or 2 lots of 1. Simplifying, x is equal to, this part would be positive 4, plus or minus the square root of 16, minus 4 lots of 1, multiplied by negative 20, which would be positive 80, divided by 2. Simplifying further, x would be equal to 4 plus or minus the square root of 96 over 2. Root 96 is a surd that will simplify to give us 4 root 6, and dividing through by 2 gives me a final solution for x of 2 plus or minus 2 root 6. Therefore a is equal to 2, b is equal to 2, and c would be equal to 6. Here's a question that I've completed earlier. It appears as though I've made some mistakes. Pause the video and see if you can spot what they are before writing some corrections in the comments below.
Thanks for watching. If you found that video useful, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment. If you're struggling with topics or finding maths difficult, subscribe and turn on notifications to receive regular updates about new video tutorials and other useful content. You can visit and follow all of my socials by clicking the links in the description below.